Hello, my beautiful human. Welcome back to the She Did It Anyway podcast. I am so excited to talk to you today and really want to hear your thoughts about this idea of saying no. I was asked recently what the worst advice I've ever received. Someone said that as an entrepreneur, you should say yes to everything. And so early on in my entrepreneurial journey, I thought that's what I had to do. And so I started saying yes to literally everything, to jumping on calls, to getting connected with people just to get connected, going to events, taking on clients, adding new products, my product suite, creating custom payment plans. I mean, you name it, I said yes to it. And I understand that that idea of saying yes early on in your journey as an entrepreneur can help you just build momentum and make connections. But on the flip side, what people weren't talking about is the fact that it actually left no room for you to actually do the things that you want to do because you have a bunch of things that you're now obligated to do because you said yes to. It also is a very, very, very easy and puts you on a fast track to burnout, which made it, and I'll tell you a little story about that as well, but it also just made you seem as though your time wasn't as worthy as it is. And so for me, I learned the hard way that, there were times that I wanted to say yes to other things and I just couldn't. I did not have the capacity for it. And it really, really burnt me out. And I remember getting asked to speak at a conference and I looked at my calendar and I'm like, not only do I have all of these one-on-ones with so many different people, but I didn't even set up my business for me to allow me to do these things because now not only is my business not automated because I've said yes to a bunch of things, but it's now really held me hostage, to my calendar and to this like lack of structure because I just said yes to everything. And so for me, I actually realized that there's so much more power in saying no, and it values the things that you say yes even more. And so it is just so important to really figure out what it is that you want to do. What are the things that are going to move the needle, not only just in your business and your professional life, but your personal life? What is going to refuel you, fill your cup again, and make you want to show up in a better way? And so for me, I thought a lot about early on in my entrepreneur journey, and I was thinking about how there were things that I felt like I was obligated to say yes to because of the opportunity. And so what that did is it allowed me to not actually have boundaries. Now, we talk a lot about this in my BBA course, in my personal brand program course, in our retreats. I mean, one-on-ones, you name it. But creating this non-negotiable list of the things that are an absolute hell yes. Like if it's not a hell yes, it's a hell no. And so for me, I created a non-negotiable for so many different aspects of my life, for my relationship, for being a mom, for my friends, for my work and career, my health. Like, what are my non-negotiables? What are things that like I either can't live without or I absolutely cannot have that I won't bend on? What's really important about non-negotiables and your boundaries is that you actually have to implement them, right? Like the catch is a lot of people talk about creating your boundaries and all of these things, but like, do you actually implement them? Do you follow through with them? And when I was saying yes to everything, I realized that a lot of the things that I was saying yes, although like, sure, it was not hurting me per se, but it was definitely holding me back because it wasn't in alignment with the things that I was excited to do. So I would get asked to speak somewhere and I'd be like, yeah, sure. And then I would be dreading showing up. I would take on a new client that I knew was not in alignment and did not like follow through with these non-negotiables that I had in terms of what I can support them on. And guess what? I was burnt out. I was saying yes to all of these different payment plans because I wanted to be accessible. But guess what? I was also then burnt out because I was running after people being like, hey, oh yeah, I forgot you had this plan. And oh, hey, it was just not a way to scale your business and not a way to help you stay organized and really structured. And so really thinking about this practical, very, very, very easy thing to do. And it's creating your non-negotiable list. There's another episode that I recorded that really walks through each of these pillars on a non-negotiable list. So you'll definitely have to go back and listen to that, but really thinking about what is going to not only move the needle for your business, because that is not not always the most important thing, but that's going to refuel you and recharge you. What are things that you are looking forward to do, especially if you're already really, really busy? Like that is how I like to measure of should I have said yes or no to this, or should I say yes or no to this, is if my calendar is swamped, personal and professional life, just stacked. If I see this thing on my calendar, am I going to be excited for it or am I going to be annoyed by it? That is a good indicator if you should say yes or no to. Really thinking about, okay, what else am I going to get out of this? Is this going to position me in a way that I want to be positioned for my personal brand? Is this going to give me a connection that I've been, working really hard to get? Is this going to position me in a different light for my ideal clients? Like, am I going to be in front of more of my ideal clients? So thinking about really what is that return in it for you. And it's really important to highlight that your return. So a lot of people say like your ROI, your return on investment, like your return and your investment doesn't have to just be money. For you to get a return on investment, that could be connections, that could be brand awareness, that could be, money. It could be a bunch of different things, but don't just measure your success based off of money. That's going to be really, really, really important. Now, when we're thinking about saying no, sometimes we feel really guilty about it. And I think that we need to just remove that shame, remove that guilt, and really understand that it's actually going to benefit both people if you're saying no because it's not in alignment. When you're starting to say no, you can be very clear of at this time, it's not in alignment with my goals. I don't have the capacity for it. And you should feel really good about that and end with, once things free up, or if there is another chance for you to do it, then say that, keep me in mind for the future. Hey, by the way, this time period in the year is, more open for me. So here is another option. And so just because you're saying no, that doesn't mean it's like no forever. It's just no right now, unless you do very much decide that it's no forever. So I want you to just try practicing this concept of no and being okay with it, and really remembering to create your non-negotiable list, because that's going to help you really, really, really double down on feeling comfortable saying no. Like it's on your list, you have to stick to it. I'm excited to hear, what is your struggle when it comes to saying no? Is it the guilt? Is it the fear? And like, are we operating from this scarcity mindset of, well, if I say no to this, like, what if I don't get another opportunity? I want to understand, what are those fears that come up? What are those thoughts that come up when you are presented with an opportunity that is not really in alignment? Are you, again, operating from a scarcity mindset of, what if, I don't get paid this much from somewhere else, or this is the only opportunity? And DM me and let me know your thoughts. And I will actually end up sharing all of our answers publicly on our Instagram. So send me a DM. I'm so excited. All right, I'll talk to you later. And don't forget, no matter what, she did it anyway.
You did it, Mom.